Welcome to the Jordan episode of Mom Knows Ball, episode 23. That's what that means, Mom. People say the Jordan year. This is our Jordan episode. I hate how long it took for you to get that, but
23, gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. So he was I think he's considered the GOAT, so it's a number you should probably be aware of.
I have heard that, Jordan. You're talking so low though. I want to be able to hear every word.
I'm never at a loss for words, so we got to make sure every word is as loud as possible. Mom, how have you been since we last talked?
Well, we talk almost every day, but since I last saw you, doing good. Back in Dallas, still missing Southern California. In fact, nice little segue here. I have never been a person who drank energy drinks, and Jordan drinks them all the time. But I'm a busy woman. For somebody who doesn't have a full-time job, Jordan,
she stays busy. Yeah, I mean, every day she's on some new board. I'm convinced she's just creating these boards, and it's just like, assigning herself to be the head of it. I don't know if anyone else is involved, but she's always got a thing going on. I've been impressed. She stays busy.
I am, what's the expression? Booked and busy. And so, having a little drain on my energy. So decided to try an energy drink. It's called Voodoo. Can you see it? I think Jordan has a can as well.
You know why?
It tastes good.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, we're not capping here, Mom. I can tell you what capping means later.
I don't know what that means.
This means lying. This is I'm an energy drink connoisseur, as I like to call myself. I've dabbled in all types of energy drinks because of the profession I work in. I've worked late hours, early mornings, and you can only have so much coffee. Sometimes you just need a little different flavor palette. And, I've always been there's always just been certain brands. I'm like, I like this, I don't like that. But this has got to be some of the best I've ever had. And it's really light and refreshing. And it feels like a plug, but I genuinely really like this, and I like the name and I like the branding.
No, I'm excited because I have to say I was a little hesitant to drink an energy drink, and it just tastes so good. And the one I'm drinking has 0 sugar. So anyway, check it out. The Instagram is Drink Voodoo, but we'll share the more information when the podcast drop. But yeah, looking to do a little partnering here. So excited to start this journey. But what do we have today? Today is going to be a really simple episode, okay? It's going to be some mindless yapping about the world of sports. We're going to give our take on something that's going on in the world of sports, and we're going to probably bring in our producer Tamara to help us
maybe
talk through that.
If she's not.
It depends on how we're feeling at the end, and then it's a wrap. In fact, I call this episode, I know Jordan is looking, I call this episode This and That, because it just feels like a little this, a little that. It's been a few weeks. Y'all have been missing us. So yeah, let's get going. Can I start with the mindless yapping?
Go for it, Mom.
Okay. So yesterday, the last regular season basketball game for Alabama, we played Auburn, our biggest rival. And Auburn's ranked number 1. We were ranked number 7. We were ranked 1 and 2. They beat us at home. And we went into overtime with Auburn, and we won the game on a buzzer beating shot from Mark Sears. And I was just screaming because we had lost.
Yeah, the last time you were in LA.
I think it was Tennessee on the same kind of thing. A last second shot that you go with. It didn't it didn't release his hand before the time ran out, and of course it did. So yeah,
It's a
roll
good way
tide.
to has the SEC tournament started yet? Or
No,
is
the
it
men's
next week?
tournament doesn't start, Jordan. You've got to get up with college basketball.
Okay,
The men's
I've
tournament
been in
doesn't
the
start.
NFL world. I understand. I'm seeing the one right now. I'm looking at, I was watching some lower tier conference play today. I know the conference tournaments are coming soon. It is
Yes.
March. It's called March Madness, not the NCAA tournament. So you thought you said something there, and you did. And I was specifically asking about the SEC tournament, which
Yeah,
I guess
it's
the
so
SEC. Yes. Okay.
so I said that it was the last regular season game for Alabama basketball.
Okay. There you
And
go.
so the SEC tourney starts next week for the men. However, I did just watch South Carolina women beat Texas uh, for the women's SEC tournament. And now I think this
Again,
is a
wasn't a crazy question to ask. You got, all up in my you're like, you need to be better. It's like that was a I don't think that was a
okay.
out of line question. So good
Okay.
to hear that Alabama is ending the regular season on a good note. I think we're gonna get a first round bye in the SEC tournament. I assume
Yeah,
it does appear.
there are four first round buys, and well, there are four teams that don't have to play for a couple of games. I don't know if they call it a first round buy or I don't know. Yeah, we get a buy. We get
Okay.
a buy.
Anyway, it does feel like though the SEC has now cemented its dominance in basketball as well. It feels like it's the SEC and everyone else. I mean, between obviously you have like the Dukes, but like with Tennessee, with Auburn, I mean, it just feels like at the top of the rankings, it is all of our, the foes that we're not used to seeing in football.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
is.
cool,
It's very interesting to see that Tennessee, Florida, Auburn, Alabama. I think those are the top tier SEC schools right now. But in the NFL, yes, the Super Bowl is over, but we obviously we got to be tracking what's going on in the NFL. And I know you, Jordan, were like checking out like some of the trades and some of the big ones.
busy. Yeah, it's been a busy couple days and or just this past week in the NFL world. I'm gonna run through a couple of my thoughts on things, which I know everyone is really anxiously waiting to hear if I approve or do not approve of this trade and or signing. First off, I think the biggest one because quarterbacks, are the ones that they're the sexy names. We got our boy Geno Smith. He gets traded to the Raiders. I think it was on like Friday night, I want to say. Um, and I like the move for the Raiders. I think Geno's someone who I have to remind myself he's not the same guy he was when he was a perennial backup and he was with the Jets. Uh, and I remember watching him this year thinking like he's kind of a gunslinger. Like he's one of those like, I'm gonna throw the ball downfield, like F it if my receiver catches it or not. So, he's gonna have some Brock Bowers is a great target. I feel like the Raiders are gonna make another move for a wide receiver, and that could just be like a fun team. Another big one that happened today was Myles Garrett, who's staying in Cleveland. And I just want to like say, first off, I'm sorry that you are now committed to staying in Cleveland for the rest of your career. Yes, you're being paid a lot of money, but it's just like a tough beat. So we should probably pour one out for Miles. No, I mean, unlike the real, like, congrats to Miles. He gets paid. Yeah, I think he's the highest defensive player. I think he's the highest paid non-quarterback in the league now. I know he wanted to go out of Cleveland, but money talks, and it seems like for better or worse, he'll be there. Who knows what the quarterback situation is going to be? Franchise is kind of in a toss-up, but yeah, he got paid. So, but on the other end of a guy who got paid, and I actually think the future is bright. We were just talking about the Raiders, Max Crosby, Mad Max. I briefly met him at the Super Bowl. Like aura is unmatched, and seems like a real one. It doesn't feel performative. It feels like he is I mean, he feels like an Oakland Raider, even though they're in Vegas now. But he's just got this quiet confidence to him, and he's just scary too. Like I would argue, he's scarier looking than Myles Garrett, and so I think they're kind of 1-2. And he re-signed with the Raiders. Everyone was kind of speculating, is he going to go somewhere else? But the Raiders are committed to him, and I just like the way the dude plays. Like, and he's only 27, which is like, yeah, and you think of him as because he's so durable, but
Yeah.
he's only 27 and gonna be turning 28 in a couple months. But I just really, he's a guy I'm sneakily, been rooting for now these past couple of years, because you just like the motor is insane and he feels like a team guy. So I like that move for the Raiders to bring him back.
Jordan, when you and I were talking about like the combine, and so I asked you like,
The Underwear Olympics, yes.
what?
That's what they call it, the Underwear Olympics or something. It's just all these dudes in their underwear, like running. It's like such a weird, no, it's such a weird like event that like no one like the combine does not define you, and it's almost just like a reason for all these GMs and for all these coaches to go to Indy and go eat at like Prime 47 Steakhouse and like get a little drunk and then like look at like I just again it feels like an excuse for them to all get together. Oh yeah, and then we'll bring some college kids. And half of the guys who are really good don't even like they don't even play. They don't even
A
really
lot
like.
of them don't, a lot of them don't participate in all the drills. However, from time to time, a combine can change how an athlete that maybe wasn't considered a first round or second round, it gets perceived. Which you're not, because didn't Anthony Richardson, am I like totally missing this story? Didn't he
No,
have
well, my thing, you're right. I mean, Anthony Richardson, he was a physical, like the guys who are just pure athletes and maybe don't have all the like, maybe their tape isn't as strong, but they can show off their athleticism. I'm
yeah.
just saying it makes a difference in terms of where these guys get drafted. But I think to say like, it's not going to give us wherever you get drafted, you still got to play the games.
This is
It's
true.
going to be a couple, some more money in their pockets if they go second round versus third or fourth. But I've just never been like, I don't know. Apparently, according to NFL GMs, I don't know any, but what I've heard from people who do know them is that it's all about the tape. And it's just like your tape matters the most. And so, which is why my tape's still out there. I think I put together from, my middle school days I mean, look, I think there's something to work with.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
definitely have to. We're gonna have to
no,
show that.
I've sent my tape out to I'd say 32 teams, so all of them. And I'm waiting to hear back, but fingers crossed. I hear my name next month.
So this is why we call it mindless yapping, because we can find ourselves going down a rabbit hole.
I
But
mean, it's
what I thought in our conversation, you thought Jalen Miro was one of the biggest winners from the combine, and
yes,
was that because they decided his hand was bigger than it
yeah.
was in the basketball?
My guy put his hands in the weight room. He was out here doing hand stretches. I mean, and that just adds to the ridiculousness of this combine because his hands are 8 3/4 at the Senior Bowl, and then at the combine they're 9 3/8, and like I don't know. I don't know what. I don't think your hands can grow, and if they do, like there might be a medical condition. So like I don't know what happened there. Good for him. He doesn't have small hands, and as a quarterback, obviously, like that matters. So I think if the concerns were about his hands, I just want to know what happened at the Senior Bowl and what they were measuring. I don't
Yeah,
know,
that.
but it's kind of one of those ridiculous
And
things.
I thought when you said that, I was like, yeah, he's gonna talk about the hands.
Yeah.
Although he was slinging the ball, the long deep
Yeah,
balls
he
and
looked.
all,
He was okay. I
which we
mean,
know he can do, which we
yeah,
know he
he
can do.
looked.
It's
I
not
think.
This son is in my
I think he's
face.
going to be a second or third. I could see him being in that Jalen range. Jalen was taken by the Eagles in the second round. Obviously, they're different players, but you're drafting an Alabama quarterback, and I think like the that standard and being able to play in those big games, I think that stuff matters.
Yep.
So we'll see how things play out there. I will say, I think like biggest loser. It's hard to say like loser because I think he's still going to be fine. But the conversation around Shedeur Sanders has been interesting to say the least. He shows up and he seems, genuinely like a good kid. And, there's this now reports about him he can come across as arrogant, and just the conversation. And then there are people who are like ready to defend him and being like, if you don't like that, you don't like that, but your quarterbacks need to be a certain way. And I'm a part of that. I just think it like almost is the low hanging fruit. You're like, oh, of course, the coach's son, Deion Sanders, kid is going to be, arrogant and not want to do stuff. But it's like, it feels like kind of one of those fake stories where it's like we need something to talk about. And like, what? I mean, he's confident and he knows what he is. He knows what he wants. And I don't know. I don't want to call him a loser because I think it's out of his control, but it sucks that we're even having the discussion because it feels like he's falling in some mock drafts. I don't think it's because of the personality thing. I think it's just more physically, but yeah. Mom, what do you
So
think?
yeah, so I had to put my glasses on because I want to try to have an intellectual conversation about this because
She
I'm
means
super
business.
annoyed with this narrative that he was arrogant. He's a quarterback. Like quarterbacks have to have confidence. I don't think there was anything that he said or any way that he presented himself was any different than any other quarterbacks have done, except he said it in a way with a lot of It's like he didn't, nobody gave him a script to say, look, this is the way you want to talk. He was like, this is who I am. And
Hmm.
if this is not what you want, then don't draft me. And so, yeah, I'm annoyed that even there is this narrative that he came across as it's like he's a quarterback. He's got to have a
Yeah.
level of confidence.
You I mean you have to be
Yeah, he's got to have
you're a
some.
field general and like yeah, it's like and I saw a tweet that it was like they loved Baker Mayfield's confidence coming out of college, but for some reason Shadeur's confidence is seen as arrogant. And so it's like I do think it feels to be like I don't know, it's every it kind of just feels like we pick and choose what's okay to like when it comes to confidence and arrogance and what's not okay. And so I think yeah, and I don't think that's right. And I think let his game tape be what it is and draft him based off of that. But in general, it does seem like he's done it the right way because I think being the coach's son, there can be that sense of entitlement, and it doesn't feel like he's a guy who, was expecting everything. It feels like Dion did a good job at making him work. So
No, no, I am looking forward to following his career. This sun is killing me today, but we're gonna make it through. Um, so I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk a little bit about a really big news story. Jordan, you want to? Oh, you did want to mention um, that the Mavericks. I'm hoping you don't get
yeah,
too
I mean,
emotional
I'm gonna
with
be as
Kyrie. Yeah, with Kyrie
apparently I
being
was
out.
too heated last time in my rant. God forbid someone shows some raw emotion about a team that they love. But yes, the when it rains, it pours. Kyrie Irving is tore his ACL. He's out for the year. I mean, at this point, I think people are saying it's the worst month for any sports fan base, maybe in the history of you know, of these leagues. We trade away our best player, Anthony Davis, and literally the first game he's playing injures himself. I don't think he's coming back this year. And then Kyrie hurts himself. Uh, I I never want to say someone's bad at their job, so I'm not going to say that about Nico Harrison.
So let's don't
I
say that.
I think we all I respect people who make decisions, and so he made a decision and he stuck by it, and so yeah, we can say that and we can move on, and I think
Okay.
the season is mostly over for the Mavs, and that's okay. On to next year, and maybe we'll luck out and get Cooper Flag in the draft. Who knows?
Okay. All right. I'm glad we were able
See,
to
look at that. Very,
contain our emotion.
that's what we like to call growth, maturity. Like that's here I am.
I am super proud of you because
Thanks,
last
mom. I'm no
episode
hero.
it was a lot. No, you're not. We talked about that.
I'm not. I
Okay,
mean, I'm not.
so big news story, big sports new story was the exchange between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. And we're going to give our take on that, and we're going to bring in our producer Tamra because we want to have more voices than just the two of us. And I'm hoping that everybody who listens to us knows who LeBron James is. I'm sure you do. He's a,
I
but
really hope you do. Like
I
it's.
really
I don't
hope
want
you
to. I'm not.
do.
I'm not. I'm not judging anyone, but I'm judging you from afar for sure. All
And
right, we're gonna
Stephen
bring
A.
in our
Smith, hopefully you know who he is as well. Although we
and
would not
that's
be
more
at
forgivable.
more forgivable.
Yes, yes, he's a sports TV personality.
Yes.
Hey
Uh,
Tam,
Tam,
Hey, I'm excited to talk about LeBron James.
you see
But
do you know
Le-
who that is, or do we need no? Okay.
you don't
Where do
know
we
who
start?
is?
oh, I said
When
LeBron
he was
James.
15 years old, he was in Akron. I think he was
Yeah,
born.
yeah, I
Oh,
know, I
okay.
got it.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
Jordan.
Okay,
Okay.
no, you guys, I just want to make sure I can
Yeah.
go through the
Okay, it's
whole.
a
Well,
joke.
the
Okay,
thing
it's a
is we
joke.
didn't have to go through all that if you had laughed at my joke, which you chose not to. So,
I mean, make
Tam,
a funnier joke, and then I'll laugh. So
okay, these are
all out of
first
love.
cousins who
Hmm.
have
She's like
actually
my big little sister.
Yes, Tampa lived with us for a couple of years, and so the two of them
I've lived with
bickered
a lot
back
of
and
people.
forth.
She's seen it all. So
Yeah, so okay.
Okay.
So we've all seen the video between LeBron and Stephen A. It was after the Lakers game. The Lakers had won the game, and then LeBron James goes over and exchanges some words with Stephen A. And people were reading his lips and reading his body language, and um, it feels like the consensus is he was telling him not to be talking about his son, Bronny, who is also a member of the LA Lakers. And then there's just been a lot of commentary about everything that took place.
Stephen A. confirmed that LeBron did come up to him, and it was about his son, and his exact words. This is a quote. All right. His exact words were, "Stop with my son." So that's what Stephen A. confirmed that LeBron said, because he said it was a brief interaction, and it looks like Stephen A. didn't even talk, but
Yeah,
that's coming from Stephen A. himself. Just to add
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, so here's what I'll say about this. I have no problem with LeBron James, again, I've said this, using his influence to get his son on the LA Lakers. Got no problem. In every other industry, parents, relatives use their influence to get their kids jobs. There are people all over the world. Tamara, you're going to fall asleep. Am I that boring? because you look like you're falling asleep.
I
Damn.
can't. It was the sound was. I was trying to figure out the sound,
I
but no.
can,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Jordan will fix that.
It's okay. It's her first time on the podcast. She's not used to this, so
My
it's
second.
yeah. It's okay. You'll
Okay.
you'll get the hang of it.
So anyway, so I have no problems with that because people do it all the time. No problem. And I don't mind LeBron James defending his kid. Like that's his. He wasn't, in my opinion, he wasn't like being a basketball player talking to Stephen A. He was like, "Hey man, stop talking about my kid." And we all know that when it comes to our kids, we all know we both of y'all have seen your parents like act a certain way when it comes to their kids. Jordan, you've seen me drag you out of
Because I
a
wasn't getting
game
enough playing
because
time.
you weren't being
I
getting
mean,
enough playing.
looking back on it, I can see where the coach was, coming from, but that's
But yeah,
either here nor there.
so yeah, I mean, I guess in my mind, I'm thinking maybe it would have been better if they had had the conversation privately. But when you're a parent, you're in that moment, and you're like, you know what? This person is saying something about my kid. Yeah, I'm gonna say something to him. And I have done that. So I got no issues with it whatsoever. Maybe if it had been done privately, it'd been better. But he's right there in his face talking about his kid. Yeah, I'm okay. As the kids say, I'm Gucci with it. Do the kids say that?
So you're completely fine with it.
I am. I really am.
Okay, wow. Did not. Tamara, do you want to go next?
Um, what I am, the way I'm going to look at it, this isn't about a morals thing. I think, like, as far as like what's right, what's wrong, I'm not going to take from that. I'm just saying from a reality. I'm not a parent, don't want to be, but I will say this: I do feel like parents operate on the fly. The reason half of us aren't dead, electrocuted, run across the street, got hit by a car, is because parents operate on the fly. That's just how I see it. And I do think too, because I think it's a couple things. Like, I think if it was a girl, people would see it different. If some people would. And I also think because he is of age, yes. But we can't, I think that what we have to understand is that dads are passionate. Dads be dad and papas be poppy and whatever you want to say, pops pop. Like, dads do go hard. And I like that. I'm not trying to say what's right or wrong, but sometimes in the moment, parents do get caught up. I don't think it's for us to determine what, if maybe he was planning to do it that way. Yeah, we know he had his contact information he could have. Maybe because he played a good game, he'll sell himself. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that's what happened, and it happens. A lot of, like you said, a lot of parents do it. So it's like, that's just what happened. And that's how I'm looking at it. That's just what happened. That's what parents do. And sometimes parents have a lot of influence and power and that type of thing. And he's one of them that had it. So one time for the papas.
Wow, I guess I will. I guess I'll be in the minority here. I yeah,
Let's hear
I hate it. I think it's one of the few times I'm like on Stephen A's side, who I always think does the most. But you know
The
who also does the
most.
most is the absolute most. But I also think LeBron does the absolute most. And the issue I have with it is what it represents and what it means moving forward. Because what LeBron did, doing it in a public setting like that, he has now, again, it's him controlling the narrative of how we can speak about a professional basketball player. Professional basketball players get criticized all the time. Oh, you missed this shot, you did this, you're out of this. And so he wants his son to be treated like an NBA player, which technically he is. I think we can all agree that he probably would not be in the situation he'd be in if it wasn't for LeBron. He's playing on his dad's team, and it's clear that he is not ready to be in the league, and that's fine. I think, he'll develop, but you can even tell the way media members talk around the Bronny situation. It's like they're tiptoeing because they know, like, LeBron is lurking. They know that LeBron has the influence. And I just don't like journalism like that. I don't like media being, and I get that's the reality of a lot of situations. There's a lot of times where people because of relationships, they don't do this, they don't do that. But it's like you've put your son in this situation to be in the spotlight. You're tweeting out stuff last year like, Bronny's better than half the, players in the league. He could play on the Lakers right now. Well, he's on the Lakers right now. And honestly, I think he's averaging like 2 minutes a game on a two-way deal. And again, not to say anything about him, because I have to say this because like, who knows how it'll be taken. He seems like a good kid and he's handling it well. But I think for LeBron to do that, it adds to the special treatment. It's one thing to get special treatment by just being there, but now you're getting special treatment where it's like, we can't even say anything negative about you. And I just think that's like, I don't know. Like, I think that's kind of lame. I think that that's not the way I want to take in sports, where we can't say like, and again, how many times do we really talk about the 12th man off the bench? We don't. But again, you're LeBron James' kid, so it's all you're always going to have it. Yeah.
I think that's part of the issue I have with Stephen A. again does the most, so he's probably another person who will probably never want to come on our
LeBron
podcast.
does the most. Like, I'm just saying.
So
He's an entertainer.
you talk about him being a sports journalist. I view Stephen A. as more like a
Okay, but I'm saying in general, like there are others like a Brian Windhorst, like say like whatever TV personalities, how we take in our sports, it just feels like it's almost a disservice to him. And I guarantee you, a couple years from
Tamara,
now,
you okay? Because you look like we're losing you.
I'm listening. I don't know what my face. I'm not even looking at myself.
I think in a couple years from now, wherever Bronny is, hey, maybe he's hoisting up a league MVP for all I know, or he's being an entrepreneur or taking over his dad's business or whatever. I think he's going to maybe do a sit down interview, maybe write a book. I cannot imagine that he is not affected by the pressure that his dad has put on him and just everything. And I just think I know LeBron's being the biggest hype man, and I love that. He's clearly a great father, but I think it gets to a point where it's like, you gotta let them, kind of fail on their own. They got to figure it out. And so it's like, if I'm an NBA player and I'm an NBA player, my dad is yelling at a guy don't say mean things to me. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, it's one thing when it happened to me when I was 5 years old in Little League, when I, probably didn't even know how to put a glove on my hand. Like, that's embarrassing. But it's also like, I get it. But like with Bronny's a grown man. He's 18. He's in the league. He is an NBA player. This isn't like an amateur thing anymore. So yeah, I think it's embarrassing if you're Bronny. I don't think Bronny saw that was like, go dad, thanks man. It's like, hey man, like let me do my own thing. Let me like come back with my game. Let me respond with my game, not you telling people they can't say mean things about me.
Okay.
I'm just
that went on for a minute there. And I guess for me, the only point that
okay, I mean, thanks,
the only
Mom.
point that
I thought it was a good.
Are you gonna let me talk?
Did you listen to it? Did you listen to what I said?
I did. I was trying to tell you. There was a part of it that I did that really resonated with me, was how it impacts Bronny. So that piece, I totally get. You don't want him to feel, a certain kind of way about the fact that, his dad is out there, defending him, or whatever. So we're going to let it go. We've all given our opinions. I think that's it. We are at
Camera's
another.
still awake. We see. So
Just cut the video, okay? Just cut it. I don't know what I look like.
Tamara, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. And hey, next pod, we're all gonna fill out our brackets. We're gonna go deep in the March Madness lore. We're gonna be in the thick of it. And Tamara's gonna come back on and share her March Madness picks. I know she's been locked in. And again, thank you for to our unofficial sponsors, Voodoo. It was honestly, I think, some of our best work just based off the fact that the only person who didn't drink it clearly was Tamara. So,
That's
hey,
who
next time,
needed it.
yeah, that's who needed it. So that's,
Oh my
next time we'll
God.
make sure to send a couple cans your way
Yeah.
because
We
I know
need to
I'm
send
feeling it. So
you needed the voodoo more than any of us because
you can be the before and then we're the
okay.
after. So
Okay.
All right. So again, we're every other week now. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Until then, Tam, I'm pretty sure you know ball, right? Do you know ball, Tam?
I know ball. I
You
know
do.
ball.
Okay.
she knows
Okay.
nap time too.
And
Yeah.
she knows it's nap time too. Oh, the sun is just Jordan. I'm pretty sure you know ball. You know ball, Jordan. Tell me you know ball.
I dabble in a little ball for sure.
Okay.
And mom, I guess this is pretty obvious, but do you know ball?
I'm mom and I know ball. So see y'all later.